Hello everyone, today we will be ranking all 19 LEGO Star Wars sets released in 2000. This will be a comprehensive list of all the sets from that year, ranked from worst to best. So let's get right into it. At the bottom in number 19, we have the Pod Racing Bucket. I always love pod racing sets normally, but this one just is a big miss. None of the pod racers included here are built well. Like I said, I always love having more pod racers, but not like this. The lack of iconic figures and vehicles combined with these bad builds just makes it impossible to root for this as a set. Number 18 is the Chewie and Scout Troopers minifigure pack. This one being so low isn't really a knock against it, and more of a result because of how the other sets are just more desirable. It's a decent selection of figures with 2 Scout Troopers and Chewie. All of them look good, but I feel like Chewbacca could have been switched with an Imperial figure of some kind, and then it'd fit the army builder aspect a bit better. Next at 17, I have the Technic Battle Droid. This Technic set is a cool concept, but the execution just didn't work out that great. Some parts like the main body are good, but otherwise it can look pretty rough, and overall it's just not that good. I like the style and what they tried to do here, but they didn't have enough specialized pieces like we do today to really make it look good and do the Battle Droid justice. Number 16 is the Desert Skiff Speeder. This set is surprisingly small, and because of that, this set lacks any confrontation. Luke and Han are the only minifigures, so it's hard to play with this set without having anyone or any vehicles to oppose them. There isn't even a Sarlacc pit. It makes it hard to like this set when there aren't any components that allow play. Jabba's sail barge wasn't even a set at the time either, so this one was just kinda out of left field and on its own. The speeder is good, but this set is just way too limited in its capabilities. At 15, I have the Flash Speeder. This set looks great and I love the colors, but unfortunately it's just a little too plain. It only has one minifigure and he's not that exciting. I love the build's color and design, but it just lacks any pull to it. Besides that, it doesn't have any droids to oppose the speeder, which was a big mistake. At least this set had other sets it could pair with at the time, unlike the Desert Skiff, so it wasn't completely on its own. Next at 14, I have the Technic Droideka. I love the idea here, but the Technic just looks rough and very hollow. The build has too many gaps and needed to be filled in more. I will say though, this set does have one of the best play features ever. This Droideka can actually ball up and roll around like you see in the movies. I don't think I need to explain how cool that is and how much that just carries the set. So despite a bad look, the gimmick saves this set from being a total loss. 13th on the list is the Millennium Falcon. This Falcon is fine, but the big molded panels are a little off-putting to me. They look fine, but at the same time, it just doesn't really feel like Lego. There's too many big pieces here and it's just very smooth, and it makes it feel more like a Hasbro toy rather than a Lego set. It's still fine, but I think it just takes away from the Lego charm and look. The cockpit is a little rough too, but in the end, this is still the Falcon, and you can't go wrong with that. The figures are the main 6 you'd expect. The A-Team here, Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2, C-3PO, a great lineup for this set, and one that can easily draw you into it. This Falcon may be its worst iteration, but it is far from a bad set. At 12, I have the Battle Droids pack. Like the last one, this is a good set and a great way to build a droid army, but it's hard to put this set above some of the other more traditional playsets. Another thing to note is one of the droids is a commander, and at the time, this figure was exclusive to this set. So it was a neat addition, and so for a minifigure pack, I think it was pretty darn good. At 11 is the Technic Pit Droid. This Technic set was one of the few successes the line had. It looks extremely accurate, and I love the colors chosen for it. A pit droid might not seem all that exciting, but I've always loved these little guys. Seeing random droids and objects from the Star Wars universe making their way into LEGO sets like this is just neat to me. A detail I also love about this set is you can also fold this guy up like in the movie, which is very fun. This set might not be for everyone, but I think it is a good set. At number 10, we have the Han, Luke, and Boba minifigure pack. This pack is such a great collection of main characters. 3 of the most popular from the original trilogy. And at such a low price, you can't go wrong. Plus, I love the old Boba Fett look. A great pairing of very likable figures. Ninth is the A-Wing. This A-Wing is a little blocky, but with the time, that's to be expected. I'll still say it definitely works though for when they released it. My only big complaint about the build is that the gray should have been white. It definitely would have looked far superior. Here you got two figures, a rebel pilot and an engineer. Both are fine, but nothing exciting. Overall, this set is just good. It's fun and you won't be disappointed, but it's definitely not a show stealer. Number 8 is the minifigure pack of Palpatine, Darth Vader, and Maul. This is the final minifigure pack on this list, and it's an absolute hit. Why they didn't keep making these is beyond me. This pack gave you all three of the Sith Lords we knew of at the time. They all look amazing, and it was such a great way for Darkside fans to get those guys. This was quite the collection of figures, and easily the best minifigure pack they made. Next at 7 is the Gungan Patrol. Now some people have their problems with the Gungans, but that's not me. I love this set for them. It was a huge part of the movie, and it's nice to see a set to help build your Gungan army. You get two of the creatures they ride, as well as one of the round containers we see them pull in the battle. I'd like to mention too that this set is extremely accurate. From the molds of the animals all the way to that back circular container, it's really accurate to the movie. There are two minifigures here, and that is Jar Jar and a normal Gungan. They both look okay, but this definitely should have been two Gungan warriors. They did do a good job here though, and I think some people let their hate for the Gungans get the better of them. Number 6 is taken by the Slave One. The first iteration of this set is far better than you'd expect. Now it's nothing compared to what we have today, but for the time, this is quite a piece. The ship has a lot of curves and slopes, and they were able to build a fairly decent representation of it with only the roof bricks. The front of the ship doesn't look quite as good, but I think it has a lot to do with more the inaccurate color choice. There definitely need to be more green up there. The sole minifigure here is Boba Fett, of course, and that's okay. He does get a Han Solo and Carbonite to pass around though, which is cool. For $20 though, I don't think there's much else you could want from it. It's a nice self-contained ship and set. The 5th set on this list is the B-Wing. This first iteration of the B-Wing is a lot better than you'd probably expect. For how old this ship is, they did a really great job. The B-Wing has a very distinct shape, and it's a very hard ship to make in LEGO, and they really didn't do too bad here. Somehow LEGO was able to get all the moving wings in here and really just make it all work together. On top of that, there's even quite a big hanger build for the Technician and Astromech to hang around in. All the figures get the job done despite not being very exciting. It's a $30 set, which doesn't sound that great, but the extra build helps make up the price tag and makes it easier to handle. At 4 is the MTT. This vehicle makes its first debut with a very good, albeit weirdly colored build. The shaping of this vehicle is great and extremely accurate for such an old set. The only problem I find here is the colors. For some reason they have a hodgepodge of brown, tan, and gray. The whole thing should have just been brown, and I'm not sure why they seem to want to make this same issue on multiple sets from this year. The main play function of deploying the droids is here, of course, and is definitely the highlight of this vehicle. The figures are 7 droids, plain and simple, but a good lineup for a troop carrier. All in all, it's a very nice MTT for the time. In 3rd is the AAT. Despite its age, this set manages to be one of the best AATs LEGO has ever designed. The bottom portion of it is perfect, and as you move up there may be one too many studs for my liking, but it's still a phenomenal build. This version remains the most accurate from LEGO to this day. This was the perfect scale, and the build is an absolute treat to look at. The minifigures are just a few droids, but that's okay. The set wasn't that expensive, and it's a vehicle for the droids. A great set by LEGO. Hopefully we can see a return to form for this vehicle here soon. The runner-up is the UCS TIE Interceptor. The Interceptor never saw too much spotlight in the movies, so it was a bit of a surprise pick for a UCS set, but it works surprisingly well with the X-Wing and is a bit more interesting and complex than a TIE fighter would have been. The cockpit is an interesting shape, but they definitely tried. Making a circle with LEGO was a lot harder given the smaller piece pool of the time. Also, the blue spread out all over the ship is super iconic and super nostalgic. It's not accurate, but it is super fun to look at, especially when it was the norm. There is no minifigure, which is pretty lame, but it doesn't ruin the set. It's a really great dive into the UCS line and a good pairing with the top set. And that number one spot is the UCS X-Wing. The X-Wing, of course, is the most iconic ship maybe ever, and when LEGO took a full swing here, they hit hard. This was the first 18 plus and adult set ever, and it was a great outing. It holds up incredibly well and looks fantastic. All the edges and slight angles are here and present. Comparing it to the regular sets at the time, it's a total world of difference. This was their first step into adult sets, and it really showed what LEGO could be and would become today. Of course, the TIE Interceptor was released too, and it's all well and good, but the X-Wing is just a ship any individual can identify. Not to mention, they just did such a wonderful job, and it easily deserves this top spot. Alright everyone, that was it for today's list. Comment below if you agree with my picks. Like and subscribe for more LEGO Star Wars content. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.